Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
The Porcupine with Adam Nutter.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on, Prickles? Which is a contingency of porcupines, which I'm trying to figure out to call you guys. That's lame. Nope, not going to be called that. It can't be called Prickles. That's awful. We'll figure it out. We'll work there. We'll get there, guys. I am Adam Nutter. Welcome to the Porcupine. Holy shit, look, merch. Wow, fresh merch. droptent.com/droptent-store. Go get it's an awful fucking website name for that.
Just get to the store.
Droptent.com.
Just get to the store.
Droptent.com. Why do we do it that way? Droptent.com. Go to the store. Get your fucking porcupine shirt. Support. Really good quality. It's really fun. Just got to tell you for myself. So buy that shit. Of course, real quick plugs out of the way. August 11th, I'll be in Staten Island at Steiny's Pub, 8 p.m. show. Come on out to that. And of course, August 14th, pop in. 2 shows, Chalfont, PA, Pennsylvania, 7:30, 9:30 show, droptent.com/events for tickets. Okay, that is it. Now, we will start with our guest, the one and only Pete Quinones. What's up, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? You guys are in New York?
I'm from New York.
Okay.
We're in PA now. We're in Philly right now, but I'm from New York. I'm from Staten Island.
Cool.
I'm actually wearing
cool.
a Staten Island hat because I'm trash.
So was your dad a cop or a fireman?
Neither.
On Staten Island?
He was from Brooklyn, so he moved out there. He worked for the Boy Scouts, believe it or not, and they got fired.
Oh, wow.
And now works for an insurance company. So
I do, man. I so want to ask what he got fired from the Boy Scouts for,
it's not
but
that.
I'm hoping that's not. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what it was. Recession, 2008.
Yeah.
He was like one of the only people who actually worked for the Boy Scouts. Most of his volunteer, but he was like in charge of all of Staten Island, like all the events and part of Brooklyn. Like he was actually pretty big up there in the company. And then recession, he walked in with like his 2 people that were under him one day, and then his boss was like, "Hey, we're done here." And he's like, "I'm 50. Like to fucking figure it out." You know, it was like figure it out. And dude, from that moment on, for real, my parents have never really financially recovered ever since that moment. Like it's wild. Like they're okay. But like never, ever got back to where they were from that.
Wow.
Like it's really a shame. But
yeah, yeah, man. People are still feeling it from 2008, but you know, no one wants to talk about it because most people recovered. But I mean, there were some people that just couldn't. I mean, I lost it. I don't even want to talk about what I lost.
Yeah, dude, that was wild. That was a wild time. I was like 21. And like it's when you're first starting to try to get into the world, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like everything just crashes around you. Wild times, man. But Pete, again, I ask everybody this question when they come on this show: what brought you to Liberty Movement? Like, what was it? I know you shit on the LP like we all do, but fuck the LP, right? We don't have to talk about the LP at all, but we can. But what brought you to Liberty Movement?
Well, since we were just talking about 2008, I started seeing things just falling apart in 2007. Actually, I was living in Florida, and the housing market actually started taking hits in parts of Florida in 2005. So you started seeing prices drop, and you started seeing a lot more for sale signs and then some foreclosures. So I heard Ron Paul talking about during a debate in 2007, talking about foreign policy. And then he started to talk, you know, and then like, I'm like, okay, let me follow this dude. So I find a video and he's talking about monetary policy and why everything is happening at that time. And I'm just like, holy fucking shit. I'm like, this is why this is happening to me at this moment. And from that point, I just started reading as much as I could. I think I got A Foreign Policy of Freedom, the book, which is basically just a bunch of his house floor speeches. And I think it said something in thanks to the Mises Institute. And I Googled the Mises Institute, and ever since then, it's just set me off.
Dude, you, me, and almost everybody else I talked to in this podcast, that's like somewhere along the line is like Ron Paul. Like, of course, right? I watched a great clip of him today. I think he was debating against Mormon Face. What the fuck is his name?
Romney?
Yeah, thank you. Romney. And he was just like, we gotta stop the wars. We gotta put money home for, and people in the audience are just staring at him like he's crazy. And when you see like that Republican like crowd just like, oh, he said end the wars. It's like that's such a radical idea back then, and it's all of us are like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, it's wild. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Think about how crazy this is. Okay, so the guy gets up there and says end the wars, and a whole room of people, thousands of people, are looking at him like he's insane. Do these people know what war is?
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a war on the street outside of their house, I mean, think about that, man. I mean, we've never really seen that except for like the 90s bank robbery that the movie Heat was based off of.
North Hollywood shootout?
Yeah, the North Hollywood shootout.
Yeah, man, I talk about that shit all the time.
Dude, have you ever seen the video? Have you ever watched the whole video?
Dude, yes.
Like numerous
times. I broke it down like a psychopath.
Yeah. Dude, how are they so well? How many magazines did they have?
Hundreds?
I mean, seriously.
They had armor-piercing AK round drum clips, and they were shooting into the helicopters with. It's crazy.
It was like the weapons. I always say when you watch, it really bothers me when I watch a movie and there's no magazine changes. Oh, yeah. I always say, you know, the weapons are in God mode, which is why anybody who's a gun fanatic and who's never seen the John Wick movies, that's one of the best things about the John Wick movies is no one ever goes into God mode. They switch it out. Oh. It is amazing to watch. I remember it was one of the first things I picked up because I think I've seen the first one like 3 or 4 times, and just watching how often he's doing magazine changes, even at like, and I forget what he was using. It was that H&K, but he was dropping them after like 9 rounds, which would be proper training actually, because you're not going to be able to count, but you're like, okay, I don't want to run empty.
Right. It's called what? Combat reload. You leave some rounds in and you got to keep it going. Yeah. I never saw John Wick actually, which is crazy. I know, but
you've never seen it? Oh my God, dude! First of all, it's sad. The beginning is sad as fuck, and you're gonna get pissed off and everything.
Dog thing, right? I'll cry.
Well, and his wife died. His wife died.
Who cares?
And the
it's
dog.
About the dog.
And everything.
We know that.
Yeah, exactly. But just if you're a gun nut, if you know guns, it's hard not to. I mean, I was on a gun forum when that came out, and that's all we talked about was how realistic it was. And
I remember his training videos for that movie. He was going through courses like straight up like SEAL team shit, like sideways aiming down the gun.
He was doing 3 gun. Yeah, he was doing 3 gun.
Yeah,
he was doing 3 gun, and he was training with the best because man, he was killing it.
I'm like, all right, Call of Duty, fucking the fuck, guy, calm down. But like you were saying, people don't know where war is, and that's the thing. If you've never been in a situation where like your life is on the line, or like you've been in a combat situation ever, and like people just flippantly will talk about like it's like it's going to the store, like just go to war. Like what?
What's funny is I grew up in the Bronx, and by the time I was 17, I had 2 guns pointed at my face.
Yeah, it sounds like Bronx, dude.
so it was like the first time it was like shit your pants. The second time, the person I was with said you laughed, and I was like, if it wasn't because I was a badass. It was because that was just my response at the time and everything.
Dude, yeah, I've been to Yankee games a lot. Yeah, it's not great up there.
That's the neighborhood I grew up in.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Is 161st and River and Jerome and everything right there. Yeah.
So like I said, I'm from Staten Island, so I'm only living in PA for the last 5 years. I got married, but like I've been to hundreds of Yankee games. So going up there with my dad and stuff, we were driving because the train. I'm like, I don't take a fucking train in there. It's a nightmare. You get fucking robbed, raped, whatever the fuck.
But it's so crowded. See, the thing about taking a train to a Yankees game or when you're leaving is it's crowded as hell. So it's like you're safe. Safe in the crowd. Yeah, that and the Mets going to the fucking Citi Field and stuff. You're fine pretty much. But that whole area is just shit. It just fucking fell apart over the years. So Ron Paul, what else was like your catalyst? You think that was like besides Ron Paul? Like what else was you like? What was your issue that you're like I need other people to know about this. I need to harp on this. I talked about the Federal Reserve for a lot of years and everything like that, and no one listened. No one listened. It just wasn't sexy, And I should have made it war. If I'd have made it war, well, I mean, if I'd have made it war, then I would have really alienated a lot of people in my life, but hey, maybe I needed that. Who knows?
Yeah, the Fed, man, that's something that you're right. No one gives a shit about it. But everyone, because it affects literally every single person. But you ask most people, you go, what's the Fed? They go, like the delivery service that drops off stuff. You're like, yeah, man, sure. Like people don't know about the Fed, especially, is a very basic fact. This is just a hypothetical number because I don't know the exact numbers, but like they're a private bank, obviously, which I'm just repeating for everybody else listening. Private company,
bro. They can do what they want.
do what they want. But they essentially loan our government money. But they make me go out like 10% interest on whatever the fuck they loan out. So it's like if they loan out $1 million, they get $10 million back, and like. But like, who's paying that? Like, we are. This is an endless cycle of made up money.
Actually, if it's 10% on $1 million, they'd be getting 1.1 million.
I'm a dumb comic, Pete. Let it go. You know what I fucking meant. We all know what I meant here.
The only subject I aced every year of my school. My school career was math. That's the only thing
I had to go to summer class for math, man. Right?
I went to summer class for math once just so that I could do advanced algebra in high school.
We get it, you're a nerd. We get it. We get it.
It's literally the only subject that I excelled at, and I didn't even try. It was just something. It was inherent or something.
I get it, man. History was like that for me. I always dug history, so I was fascinated with it. So yeah, I was like that with history, but math, I don't get it. But yeah, so the Fed gets like interest on all this money, and then like people, and then you ask me like, well, who's paying that? And they go, well, the government. Well, the government doesn't have a job. They don't have a lunch pail. They clock in 9 to 5 and leave. Their job is your job, dude. So it's like
the best thing to do is to like tell a bunch of normies that government employees don't pay taxes, and then watch their heads explode. I mean, I've had people get violent. I mean, like really, like you could see that they're getting heated.
Right.
When you say that, and it's just like if they were here, they'd be punching me.
It is like almost like a paradox, the government employee, because it's like, well, you're paying yourself to work at a minimal rate.
See, but I won't even
right?
even look at that. I won't even look at it that way, because if the government didn't exist, they wouldn't even have that job. So
dude, yeah. Dude, okay. No, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pete. No, go ahead.
So they would just by getting tax money, it just basically what they're doing is they should just be negotiating, and knowing what, we all do it. If you negotiate a salary, you're taking taxes. The first thing you're thinking about is taxes and everything. But it's funny because they're getting, it's like they should be looking at it as everyone who's paying taxes is paying it to me, and then I have to I have to just give a little bit back. I mean, it's kind of, but another thing I read recently was, even because the government has so many tentacles, it's really hard to get a job with a private anything where they're not somehow benefiting by doing business with the government on some level.
Yeah. So yeah, real quick. So my sister-in-law, Megan, she works like a local township, and I've told her this to her face, dude, countless times. I was like, Megan, I love you, but like, you understand your job is legitimately meaningless. I was like, it means nothing. It does nothing for people. I know it's hurting your feelings, but I'm like, I'm not trying to. I'm like, you're a township supervisor. Who gives a fuck? Like, that shouldn't exist. Like, your job shouldn't exist. The fact that you make the money you make is fucking bananas. Like, off of that job. Because I tried to explain it to her, like, in a nice way. I'm like, Megan, think about it. What do you do at your job? She's like, well, I coordinate the town. Why? What are you coordinating? How? Exactly.
Yeah,
how? Well, she's like, the police don't deal with you. They just let you know what they're doing. Not you're controlling the police. I'm like, what else? She's like, well, local sewer stuff. I go, but that can be done privately. And then her defense against that, she's like, well, actually, they cost too much to be done privately. That's why the city does them. I go, there's no way that's true. Like, I don't know the numbers or the stats behind that. I just know you were told to lie, and you didn't look into it, and now you're just telling me that lie. But I guarantee if I look into that, that's not true. So her job is just very fucking pointless. But that's most government jobs. It's just a meaningless task to cipher in a thing. And then your second point with the businesses, we saw with the PPE stuff, right? Or even a lot of the COVID stuff. It's like, we'll give you money if you do this. And a lot of these businesses are fucked. So like, well, I'm going to do it because I don't want to go under. And now they're kind of forced into this dichotomy of the system that they don't want to do. How do we get out of that, I guess, is the,
Yeah. I have a really good friend who owns a business, and he took the PPE and he gave it to his employees. And that's what he did. That's what you're supposed to, that's basically what you were supposed to do with it. You weren't supposed to use it for anything else. It was supposed to go towards building the business, or go towards the business or the employees. And he gave everything to the employees. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. Well,
and he's like, I pay 6 figures in taxes a year. So, a five figure PPE is, I figure that's just getting a little bit back,
Right. Well, that's also the other really funny part about this whole just like shutdown, lockdown stuff, and like the stores. It's like, you guys see the stores that are open though, right? None of them are mom and pop stores. Like
dispensaries stayed open in states that
They
wanted people to be comfortable in that way. As long as they have their vices, they'll be happy.
And so in Pennsylvania, which I don't agree with, but my wife, when she was younger, she used to work for the liquor board, which is state run. We're one of the few, I think maybe the only state, I don't know, that like the liquor license board is run by the state or whatever. So like not even that. So even stores. So like I can't go into a store and just buy like alcohol. You have to go to a government store.
Ohio's the same way.
Okay. So,
Ohio with spirits.
Yes.
With spirits.
So beer now it's more, and wine, but with anything like alcohol, like hard liquor, you got to go to that, which is fucking stupid. I mean, you're literally taking a whole business away from a million, possibly thousands of people.
It's insane.
It's insane how they could, but that stayed open. All the beer stores stayed open. The dispensary stayed open. All the state stuff stayed open. And Target, but like the local hardware store shut down. Yeah. And then, of course, the argument against that was like, well, they're a smaller store, so the spread of COVID. I go, stop. Well, then let less people in. Then if that's your argument, then let less people in the store at the same time. Then what difference? Why can't they stay open? It doesn't limit the people then. But
there are still stores here. I mean, and Georgia's been open since the last week in April of last year, and there's still stores here that and I know they're doing it purposefully, is only 7 people at a time, like stores in the mall. And like the Apple store in the mall close to me here, it'll just shut down for like a week or two at a time. And I have no idea why. I'll see it open and then it'll be shut down, and they'll just be like, oh, we're temporarily shutting down. I mean, is someone testing for COVID and then they're just shutting the whole thing down? I mean, it's like I know like 5 or 6 people who have COVID right now. I just got over it. So it's like, I mean, so
I mean, I know you talked about it, but how was it for you? Like, now I'm actually talking to you. I could actually ask you, like, how was it?
Well,
like, how do you feel?
It sucked more than it should have, and I've been sicker in the past, much sicker with like flus and stuff like that. Wake up not being able to breathe in the middle of the night. I went through a series of like symptoms. It'd be like, I'd have 2 symptoms, those would go away. Then I'd have the next day, I'd have 2 symptoms and everything. And it was just, the worst was the brain fog. I had brain fog for like 2 weeks, and it was like, it's just really impossible to think, and not even think much less, but walk. It was like just trying to walk and being weak at the same time. I mean, the lung thing was obviously something that was troubling. You're like, you're having trouble breathing. You're hearing all these stories about people's lungs getting shut down and everything. So nebulizers are great. They're really inexpensive. I mean, like, you can get them for less than $40, and you put some colloidal silver in water, or some hydrogen peroxide, a very, very small amounts of food grade hydrogen peroxide, mix it with water in a nebulizer, and it just fixes you right up in a couple of days. Yeah, fix me up.
You doing like vitamin D and stuff too, or you're just doing that?
Yeah, and here's the thing that really pisses me off, because I'm never gonna know. Okay, so
okay.
I think I got this at Pork Fest, and if anybody's ever, if anybody listening to this knows about the, they've probably heard this if they listen to podcasts. The Mises Caucus tent was always jamming. There was always people in there. There was booze flowing, food. I mean, it was the place to be.
Of course, we're the
intellectual conversations. Yeah, I mean, and but so many people in that tent got it.
I heard.
So that's where I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know who got it the worst. I mean, you know, I'm probably older than most of the people who were in the tent. So that's why it hit me. But here's the thing that pissed me off the most is every morning I take a shit ton of vitamin D3. I've been taking Q-certain, zinc, and green tea extract. And the whole way through this whole thing, I've been taking that, and I never got sick. And I went to Pork Fest, and I forgot to bring it with me. And like, so I didn't have any on Thursday. I didn't have any on Friday. And I don't think I had any on Wednesday. And yeah, I got it. And it pisses me off that I'm never going to know if it's because I missed 3 days of D3, Q-certain, green tea, and zinc.
Dude, that's fucking funny, man. Yeah, I heard that tent was just a fucking conveyor belt of COVID.
Oh yeah, but it was fun in there, man. Like I'd go there, I'd be like, all right, I'm only gonna have a couple drinks, and it's like, yeah, famous last words.
Sure, yeah, and you die there. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm going next year, dude. I couldn't go this year. We had shows and stuff, just comedy. I couldn't cancel those, but I'm gonna go 100%. Make sure my schedule's clear for next year. Because I saw the pictures, I just got serious FOMO. It's like, oh. Everyone's having a good time. All my friends are there. Like no one.
I mean, we had I had a Bellamy Fitzpatrick, who's like a former Green anarchist. I mean, like a real Ted Kaczynski, you know,
yeah,
was into Ted and everything. We did an episode on Ted Kaczynski's writings together. And it was the first time I got to meet him. He came up from New York, and Christian Gruber, who's been on my show, used to work for Google, talked about being in the cafeteria when YouTube got shot up a few years ago. Yeah. He was in there and everything. Now he's an engineer for Square. And I hadn't met him, and he showed up. I mean, he flew across the country, all the way across the country to come to that and everything. So yeah, it was, you know, Aaron from Timeline Earth was there, and that was great. I had never met him in person before, and we just all had it was a blast.
Yeah, man, I really regret not going.
My fiance came in from Ohio, and yeah, it was
that's cool, man. Fuck, I'm going next year. I'm going there. I'm going to Freedom Fest too. I'm doing both. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care about Freedom Fest.
All right, fuck it. Let's go to Pork Fest.
Yeah.
Fuck
Dude,
you, Freedom Fest.
It's so beautiful up there too, man. You're in the mountains, and like some of the pictures I took, people had set it up really nice. There's a picture of me and Dave with mountains in the back, and Reed Coverdale with mountains in the back, and it's just so gorgeous.
Dude, yeah, it looks so fucking nice, man. I gotta hit that up. I would like to do comedy there. That'd be fun. To do like some shows there or something like that. That'd be fucking fun as shit for sure.
Everybody's hammered. They're gonna laugh even if it sucks.
Even if it sucks. I'll just go up there and shit on the Cathedral Caucus for fucking 2 hours, and everybody would fucking love it. Which I did a little bit of the Mises event last time, a little bit, but I also feel bad doing that because I'm like, it's just easy.
Yeah, you're dunking. You're dunking on kids.
Yeah, I'm like wiffle balling home runs with them. It's like they can't meme, they can't fucking fight back. I don't mean physically fight back. I mean like verbally fight back. They can't.
They can't physically fight back either.
No, but it's not, my point is, it's not even get to that point. It's never getting to that point. I'm not worried about that. They're
just going to cry and curl up in the corner.
Fuck out of here. What are you going to do? I mean, listen, the guy in my county is a goddamn national meme for them. Fucking, I promised I won't.
Oh, Shellen, what's his name? John.
Yeah.
What's his
name? I promise.
Wallenberger?
Yeah.
That guy, dude, he is a meme.
I know.
It's insane. I find it hard to believe that he's even serious. It has to be like an infiltration or a plant or something. I
see him once a month at all the meetings. I'm the board rep for PA, so I see him. He's Bucks County. I'm Bucks County. We see him all the fucking time. It's wild. He's a real person that exists in the world. I can tell you that much.
I think I feel like people like him and a couple people in New York that I won't mention by name. I feel like they're sent into the LP just to make the LP look ridiculous. And you know, the LP looks ridiculous enough if it was all right libertarians, because well, then you have to follow the NAP, and how are you going to do anything politically if you're following the NAP?
Exactly.
I just feel like sometimes these people are sent in there just to like destroy the term libertarianism and make it look like a bunch of.
Do you know Ken Krawchuk?
Who?
Ken Krawchuk? He's a Philly
No.
Mises guy. He's great. Ken's been doing it forever. He's awesome. But like, he will straight out during meetings just call people plants. He'll be like, "You're a fucking plant. You're a fucking fed." Like, dude, Ken's a fucking man, dude. I fucking love Ken. But do you know? Maybe you heard this guy too, because for meme purposes, Henry Connolly. He's in the same circles as John. Okay, the reason I bring him up is because he's like this guy who like would wear AOC shirts and Bernie shirts and like run as a libertarian for Congress, and we're just like, hey, there's a party for you. You know, so finally, once we took over Mises Bucks, pretty much, he went to the Green Party, and we're like, there you go.
I remember him now.
Okay, that's him. So he went to the Green Party. I was like, yeah, that's where you belong the whole time, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but there's a party there for you.
There's enough of them. I mean, I don't even want to call them left libertarians. And my partner at Stateless Productions, Chris Kofer, is kind of sick of me calling people degenerates. But it's like, I mean, I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I mean, if it's not plants, then there's something wrong with libertarianism.
You know why? Because we sound like paranoid when we say that. Like, there's fucking but there are. Because, like I said this before, I think this is the last podcast I did. During the formation of the Libertarian Party, there were feds in the room. Like, it was like, it's like a fact. It's like a known thing, right? So it's like, what do you think? It just went away? Everyone just stopped doing it? Like, no. It's especially now with the whole Dave movement, we're getting more and more noise.
Yeah.
I noticed the attacks are way. I mean, John Brennan called libertarians terrorists essentially on national television one time.
Insurgent,
you see a lot more of that stuff. Like, if you don't believe full-heartedly in what we're doing here, you're a domestic terrorist. It's like, what? Like, I don't believe what you're doing. That was always the thing here. We were always allowed to say that. We were always allowed in this country to be like, we don't like what you're doing here. And now I'm a domestic terrorist if I say that. Like, I mean, this is like a danger. I mean, okay, fuck it. Forget all that. Look at New York now. They're telling private businesses they can't, like, what to do. Like, straight up. That's like straight up fascism. So, like, how the fuck do we get out of that? Like,
did you hear the episode that I did calling out that Kyle Varner guy?
No.
Yeah, so this guy is a complete piece of garbage. I mean, he's a neocon.
Okay, fuck him.
And but the thing is, he's a neocon, but he's like culturally left. So it's like, and he's a doctor.
How the fuck does
so
that
he's
work?
like, I mean, I don't know.
So he loves
the
people,
neocons came from the left, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But this guy wrote a letter to, like, when the whole LP New Hampshire thing was going on. Yeah, he wrote a letter saying that Rothbard's whole life work was to lead up to paleo-libertarianism, that's what the end goal of Rothbard would be. I mean, he shit all over Hoppe, and he talked about how Ayn Rand should be, you know, it talked about, praised Ayn Rand and Hayek, and of course. And I mean, I just broke down video of him that was endorsed by the LP when Nick Sarwark was in charge, because they're really close. They're really close. And and basically what this video did was said that anyone who didn't support Juan Guaido as the legitimate president of Venezuela was a enemy of the people of Venezuela. I mean, he's saying that this is on the LP. This is on LP.org.
Right.
This video.
The platform of the party.
Yeah. This is on LP.org. And one thing that Angela told me is that the chair controls social media. So what that tells me is that, well, isn't doing, they choose who's posting and what goes out there. So tells me that Sarwark wanted this out there, and it's distinctly pro-war. Then I found another video of him later where he's in Colombia calling for regime change on foreign soil. I mean, he's like literally an American on foreign soil calling for regime change. And I just called this guy out for like an hour. It's the most downloaded solo episode I've ever done. And he wrote a letter to the LP talking about how he's donated over $100,000 to the LP and LP candidates since he joined and everything like that. So he was going at that angle, trying to get the, basically saying that the Mises caucus needs to be destroyed because it's bringing racism into this ideology that he loves and that he's embraced since 1997 and everything. Yeah, but he's gone now.
Yeah,
he's gone from the Libertarian Party. I mean, he wanted to fight racism and he ran away from it. So little pussy. And I was following his Twitter account the other day, and I saw one tweet responding to some Republican, and it was GOP FTW. So apparently he's gone to the Republican Party now, which is rather interesting. I mean, but if you want regime change, obviously,
that's
what the fuck are you doing in the LP? Go to the you should have been in the GOP already.
Oh, of course.
But it's like, but it's like, what's so funny is he's not going to have anything in common culturally with the GOP at this point. I mean, the GOP has been inundated by so many Trumpers, and the Trumpers tend to be more culturally conservative and everything. So it's like, I just think this guy, I couldn't find any. He's from Washington State, went to college in Virginia. If you want to call someone a Fed. And then
yeah, of course. Quantico, maybe?
He went to med school in, I think, Guyana, which is notoriously, historically, where if the feds want to get someone a college degree or an advanced degree, they send them to one of there. And then he did his residency at an army hospital in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And everything. And it says, I just tracked all this down, and I can't find anything from his high school. I can't find any existence.
So
anything.
Shady, dude.
Yeah,
it's so fucking shady. They're trying.
Yeah, but it's like, you send this guy if you're going to send someone to the LP to like infiltrate it and try to make it like, okay, so more pro-war, to at least consider war and everything, maybe not make the guy like an SJW as well.
Yeah, balance it.
Yeah.
They just went hard on both spectrums and like fuck the middle. We're just gonna go hard on one way, hard that way. See what happens. There's something about people like that who aren't even feds necessarily or plans. Just people who like casually drifting down to parties. I'm like, do you not have any fucking like ethics or like conviction? Like, listen, I'm not saying you can't change your mind on stuff. We all do, right? We all change our mind on shit. Like, that's part of growing as a person, I think. Like, 24-year-old, I'll be 25, I'll be 35. 25-year-old Adam was fucking retarded compared to 35-year-old Adam. Like, if I didn't grow in those 10 years, like, what was I doing? Like, we have to, I think, as part of it. But there's something that says it makes, I don't know, it stinks on someone where they're so willingly to just transfer through parties and easily just switch out their belief system just to get ahead. And I'm like, so what do you believe? It's like disgust, like parasite shit. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's like at the beginning, I can't remember what that George Bush movie was that concentrated on Cheney. Was it called Vice or? Yeah, I can't.
Yes,
yeah.
Jesse shaking his head. Yes.
Yeah, and when Cheney meets Rumsfeld in the beginning, and I think this is like right after Watergate, so we're talking like 74. They become friends and everything like that, and they talk about what the neocon strategy is going to be going forward and everything. And I think Rumsfeld's walking away, and Cheney's like, hey, what about ideology? I mean, it's what about like what the Republicans actually stand for and everything? And Rumsfeld just turns around and laughs at him and keeps walking away. Because politics is, Curtis Yarvin has gotten a lot of people to read the book The Machiavellians, and I think I've probably gotten a bunch of people to read it as well. And what it talks about is that the greatest political strategists of all time, especially 5 of them, they can't stand ideology. It has nothing to do with politics. Politics is about power. Ideology gets in the way. And, that's, one of the reasons why I wrote an article, why the Libertarian Party will never have any political power. And it was because of ideology and because of the non-aggression principle. So, because if you want to have some serious power, I mean, you can do stuff locally, all politics is local. But nationally, you're not going to get anything done. Come on. Don't even fool yourself, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, not to parrot what Dave says, but I mean, he's right, right? I mean, we're all right. They're weak. They care. They're ready to battle the state, but they get mad at memes.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you battle people who are killing babies? They don't care. They will kill all the babies overseas. But that trans meme upset you, so like shut it down.
Well, it's something that what's funny is the first time I ever went on Dave's show, I told him what I thought of the culture war, and he remembered this. I was really shocked and brought it up recently when I was interviewing him, and he said most people want to fight the culture war instead of fighting the state because they feel like it's something they can win. It feels like, you know, if it's somebody that you're gonna see at an event or something like that, and you can shout them down or something like that, well, you've just won something. You're not shouting down the 202 area code. You know,
Right.
you're not even going to win against the 202 area code. So, you know, they just fight a war that they think they can win, and unfortunately, it's a war that is more detrimental than anything else because you're alienating allies.
Right. I mean,
And,
I just messaging is what I was just gonna say. We talk about messaging a lot on this show, and it's like with the LP, they don't give a shit. They just don't care about the messaging. They care so much about elections. They think that matters, and it does and doesn't. Messaging gets you elections, which I don't understand. The fucking hard time understanding that. No one's gonna vote for you if you don't fucking have a good message. Right? I mean, I feel like that's not a crazy thing. So I feel like the messaging is important, and this is why I love you on Twitter, because you just like, fuck it, this is how it is. And you just say what you want and how it is. And yeah, you get so much hate. But fuck them. They're wrong, and you're right. That's how I say it. So it's, I guess my question, also, a brief thing before I even ask you this question. I don't remember, but one of the very first meetings you and I ever had on Twitter was pleasant, but then a second interaction we had was I was high as fuck. I was so high, and
well, I may have been too. So.
And I was trying to agree with you on something. Dude, this
and
is
it didn't work.
It came off negative, but you went, wait, what do you mean by that? I went, oh no. I was like, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm like, bro, I'm high. I'm sorry. And he went, all good, me too.
Yeah. The funny thing is, what if somebody like, the first thing I always do, and if people are going to be good on Twitter, they really have to do this. You have to, if you think somebody's going at you, look at their profile.
Yes.
Look at their profile. I mean, there are a lot of profiles that are empty, but most people put something in their profile and everything like that. And even if there's nothing in the profile, just scroll the person's tweets. Mm-hmm. You know, if they're retweeting Dave Smith or Ron Paul or something like that, then you probably have misread them and everything, and you want to ask for clarification. But if you click on their profile and they have a blue wave in it or something like that, then it's fair game. Just go for the kill.
Yeah, no, I just always think about that when I think about us meeting.
I think I remember that too.
Do you?
I think I remember.
Dude, I wish I could remember what it was about, but I just remember, dude, being stoned as fuck on my couch, being like, "Oh, I fucked up. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to be like, I thought he would laugh. He didn't laugh. I think he's mad at me now." That's like a bitch. And then you're like, "No, that's cool. I'm high too." I'm like, "All right, cool. Weed's fun." I agree with you. But how do you deal with the hate? Because I get hate too, man, because we're the same. You know, I mean, I'm just a lesser of you. But like, how do you deal with all that?
So, when I first started getting popular on Twitter, I would argue with absolutely everyone. I felt like I had to respond to every response or something like that, at least with like a heart or something like that. And it's just got over the years, like I'll just drop a tweet now and I'll just walk away for hours, and it could be, I was just going through some of my bookmarks just because I was waiting for you guys. And I found one tweet, man, that it's like, I put this out and it was so funny because we have a group chat and we'll like test tweets out. Yeah. So we'll like put it in drafts and then screenshot it and say, what do you think about this one and everything like that. And so I like typed out this tweet and everything. And what I did, I was like, oh man, I can't send this. There's no way I can send this. And I think it was Neocon Remover, Bert. I think Bert said, well, just tweet the screenshot of what you just showed us, and if anybody says anything, go, hey, I didn't send it. You want to know what the tweet is?
Yeah.
If you go to the LP National website and start scrolling down the pictures to their officers, you may start to ask yourself whether this is where a lot of the people accused of sex crimes from the DNC are shipped off to. and the comments, oh man, even Josh Smith was like, oh, come on, dude.
I love Josh. That's so fucking funny, though.
Because he goes, and I'm like, hey man, I didn't send it. And then he like comes back with like a kind of face, and he goes the reason is I look like, he goes, I don't like the way I look on the website, and it could be true.
Hey Josh, you know what, don't look like that. I'm gonna tell you, buddy, be better, look better. I love you, look better though. No, I'm kidding. There yeah, it's funny how like I always like to equate a lot of things to comedy, you know, in my world, and this is interesting. Even though you're not a comic, you're funny, which matters because like you workshop stuff like comics do. So like I'm sitting, one of my friend Neil, who I do my comedy podcast, is off to the side doing work, and Jesse, our producer, he's a comic too. So like we'll workshop, like, you know, short jokes all the time. They're like, hey, what'd you think of this? I'm like, it's not funny. You know, or like be better, or it's like, oh, that's something, that's a premise. All right, let's workshop that. It's the best when you have other funny people who don't give a shit to workshop your fucking fucked up shit.
Well, the good thing about our group chat is, I mean, we're all pretty talented, so there may be something salvageable in it, and you know, someone will say, hey, well, just say this, you know, maybe change it to this and everything. So we help each other, and I think Bert probably helps all of us, you know, and Steppy too. Bert and Steppy are the ones that like help us the most, because it's like, you know, when Bert or Steppy come up with a tweet, you're not helping it. It's going to be perfect. Just like, go ahead, go. I'll retweet it. I'll retweet it in a heartbeat. Yeah, exactly. I'll retweet it. I'm going to retweet it as soon as you tweet it. So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Twitter is a fucking super valuable tool though it helps spread the word. I mean, I do find people who are like, what's up about liberty stuff? Like, tell me more about it. I also find it interesting because, again, being a comic, like the circles I run in are left-leaning. So every now and then I'll get a comic, and I won't say anything, I want to ruin their career. But like, we'll be like, hey, tell me more about the liberty stuff you talk about. Like, what's going on with that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, don't say anything, though. I'm like, no, I won't. But, like, it's more than people probably think.
Yeah, I think Dave said that before. He said that a lot of comics would lean libertarian, but because of the industry, you can't. You know, so
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, here's the thing. There's only, like, 5 libertarian comics, and I'm one of them. It's like Dave, me, Robbie, fucking Lou Perez, and Chrissy Mayer, I guess, if she identifies as libertarian. That's it. Yeah. There's like literally nobody like other libertarian comics that I could truly think off the top of my head. So
you don't think Stanhope?
Oh, I guess Stanhope. Yeah, I guess Stanhope. Yeah, I guess Stanhope. Okay, sure. But I guess my point though, dude, it's like less than 10.
Yeah, you can name them. Yeah, you can name them.
Yeah. I fucking named them all. You can't name really, truly, probably more than 2 conservative comics.
No, I mean, Jim Gaffigan.
He's not.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's left.
He used to be. You know, he used to come off that way a lot.
Yeah,
more.
I think that's his audience, and he's smart for that. But I think he's a left guy.
So, well, I mean, the blue collar guys.
I guess so, but like, how much is that? I mean, Larry the Cable Guy is a legitimate.
Jeff Foxworthy is actually. We have a gun site down here in Georgia where we you know, just post guns for sale. We want to trade and everything like that. And he's actually on it. And he's like, I know people who, because he's not on there on his real name, and then they show up to like buy the gun or trade the gun and everything, and there's Jeff Foxworthy.
That's a weird 6 degrees of separation, dude. I also didn't think that would even come up in this podcast. That's very wild.
I mean, hey, but let me tell you something. We know that the entertainment business is also marketing.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, those 4 guys, who marketed better than them?
That was pretty brilliant.
Especially during the Obama years, because you're going through the, I mean, the aughts when Bush was in there and everything, but I mean, to the way they amped it up and just and amplified it during the Obama years, it was brilliant. I mean, those guys, they all had jets and everything like that. I mean, those guys.
Dude, and Larry the Cable Guy, he's like that's like a legitimate act. Like his name's Dan,
I know.
Dan Whitney is his fucking name.
Yeah,
like,
I've heard Dan Whitney stand up.
It's not good.
We used to have a tape. Yeah, it was awful.
I mean, Larry the Cable Guy's not whatever. It's great. Yeah, it's just it's not my thing. Who the fuck am I? They're rich. I'm no one. Whatever. Good for them.
I think that out of those guys, the one that I like most relate to is Ron White.
Ron White's the fucking best because he's also legitimately fucking funny. Like his the tater salad bit, like that's a classic bit.
Oh yeah.
It really is irrelevant to the whole gimmick. Like he's just a great stand-up, and I think all stand-ups appreciate Ron. I would imagine so. Jess, you like Ron White, right? Yeah. He's
the one he does about how he's from Texas and he's like a real cowboy. I mean, he had like ranch and everything, and how he hates hunting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Great bit.
Yeah,
dude. He has so many good bits, dude. That whole that bit with he was in Hawaii in the naval base and the dude blew him essentially. That's a great fucking bit, dude. I mean, I love comedy, which is everything.
But yeah, I mean, when you talk about conservative comics, who we can name more libertarian comics than we can name conservative comics.
Yeah, Tim Allen.
Yeah, Tim Allen. Yeah,
one.
Did time.
Yeah. And that's it. That's honestly it. I can't think of anybody else. It's wild because I mean, I think Kurt Russell is conservative, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you get into actors, Kurt Russell has said he's an anarchist. Yeah.
But like very few. It really shouldn't matter.
And there's tons of them.
Right.
They can't say anything.
Yeah, it's a shame. I hate that whole like censorship by public platform almost.
You're living a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to catch up with you after a while. Yeah.
Also, doesn't that bother you? I guess for money, no. I don't know. I mean, if I was getting thrown millions of dollars, maybe I could be a fucking shell. I don't know. I'm not that fucking situation. But like, it's hard because I want to look at it objectively, right? It's easy to sit and be like, oh, I wouldn't do it. But if you get a $20 million thrown at you, who the fuck are you to say you wouldn't?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to say I wouldn't, but
dude, if the government came to me and said, "Here's $20 million, stop doing anything," I'm like, well, I'm going bye.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Bye, motherfuckers.
It's hard to not be a hypocrite but that's how they get you.
Yeah,
that's how they fucking get you with money.
Do it. I'll be living on an island and friggin'
yeah, I'll be out of here in 2 seconds. I'll take my wife we're leaving. You don't work anymore. We're going to I'm buying an island, actually. I'm gonna buy an island.
grab the pictures, grab anything that means anything, and we're out of here.
Did you ever think about trying stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I thought about it, but I mean, I know that I can be funny. But I think it's just situational for me. It was growing up in New York and cutting up, hanging out on the stoop and just cutting up with people and everything like that. We got pretty good. There were nights where it was like everyone was laughing so hard, and like if like one person was mad because that person was getting it all and everything. But I mean, it was a really good night when like a couple people decided that they wanted to throw hands.
Right.
Where it was like it got to that point and everything. So we were brutal and everything. And I just enjoy I don't even know if Dave would remember this because we were all pretty fucking hammered. But I attended a Legion of Skanks and I was sitting right behind them, and they said something, and then I commented behind them and all three laughed. So that's like the highlight of my comedy career.
That's a good one. So,
yeah.
Because I always say, like, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm too old, or like, it's never too late to fucking try it for sure. Like, go to open mic at least and be like, give it a shot.
Look at Rodney. Rodney started when he was what? He was in his late 40s.
Well, he didn't. When he was got like famous when he was, but he was
right.
He blew up.
Yeah.
That's a few guys. Dean Del Rey's another guy who's like he got big when he was like in his 50s.
Yeah.
Lewis Black, another one. A lot of guys got up big in their 40s and 50s. It's like, it's a grind. It's a fucking grind. Yeah. But it's growing up in New York like me. Again, we're fucking New York City guys. there's a difference between New York comedy and like LA comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And LA comedy is very like airy, if that makes sense. I really
know
know
what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And New York comedy is very much like doom, boom, boom, boom. It's just like at you, and it's better.
Yeah.
It's better. It's in my opinion. If you look at the best comics that ever lived or ever working right now, like mostly they're East Coast guys.
Yeah.
Different mentality, I think. Like Dave gets.
They're my favorite. Yeah. They're my favorite comics.
Dude, Patrice O'Neal is the best comic of all time, in my opinion. I mean, Boston guy. I just.
Yeah. What's his name? The one who got cancer, died in the car crash. Robert Schimmel. Dude, he's my favorite comic of all time.
Robert Schimmel. Yeah. I fucking forget about him all the time. Jess, you know who Robert Schimmel is? Fuck, man.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, look him up.
His second stand-up album, I can't remember what it's called. I mean, the 50th time I listened to it, I was just crying. And here's one of the funniest things. I can't remember who said this, but they were he had died, and I was listening to the Comedy Channel on XM or Sirius at the time, and they were doing like an impromptu roast. They had a couple people come in the New York studio and everything. And do you remember how he died?
Car accident. Yeah,
his teenage daughter was driving the car, got in an accident, I think flipped it, and he died. And one of the comics when they're roasting was going, I'm so pissed off that Bob Schimmel isn't here to tell a joke about a teenage daughter driving it, getting into an accident and killing the dad. A perfect like woman driver joke and everything. And I was just like, oh yeah, that would definitely be the kind of Schimmel, a good Schimmel joke.
I feel like, because I forgot about it, and I used to, when I was like a high school for sure, I watched like stand-up specials, and he's a guy who's like just not talked about in like the circle, or like remember, like, you know, everybody talks about Patrice and Greg Giraldo and fucking Jesus Christ, now my Mitch Hedberg and all those guys.
Yeah.
But no one ever talks about Schimmel dying. And didn't he survive cancer to die in the car accident?
Yeah, he survived cancer. He survived cancer to die in a car accident and everything. And he was really skinny at that point.
Yes,
so
I remember that.
A car accident probably would have taken a lot more out of him.
And would she just flip the car, or like?
Yeah, I think she flipped. I think it flipped, and she like walked away from it and everything with scratches. And
that's a bummer.
And but what's his name? I guess my other favorite comic is well, I go by comedy albums and everything.
Okay.
But what the hell, Insomniacs?
Oh, David Tell.
Oh yeah,
dude, David Tell's GOAT.
Yeah, and you know another album that like really, I mean, I listened to it. I think it was 2006, 2007, and I just did. It was pretty much one of the only comic albums. Is Shiny Happy Jihad, Rogan.
Oh yeah,
that's the one where he has the Noah's Ark
bit,
and everything. Oh my god, that whole album.
Dude, yeah, Rogan actually doesn't get the credit he deserves either. He's pretty fucking funny. Like he has some really good bits, and he doesn't really get the credit I feel like he deserves for comedy sometimes. Even though he's doing arenas, like who the fuck?
Great delivery, you know, good delivery. Really knows how to deliver the punchline.
Yeah, dude, that Shaq bit he had, and that's the White House bit about the guy breaking into the White House a few specials ago. That's a great fucking bit. Yeah. That's a great fucking bit, dude. David Tell is, I mean, he's so good, and again, I feel like he's well respected amongst comics.
Oh, he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I mean, he's Hall of Fame. I mean, but yeah, he's one of those guys that all the comics would be like, how do you even, how do you deal with that and everything?
You do not know who David Tell is.
Yeah.
Like he also, if you talk to a lot of other if you got into the comedy, like into your comedy, and you were around David Tell a lot, apparently like a lot of guys would start sounding like trying to mimic him just naturally because he's just so you try to do his cadence. And somebody would be like, hey, stop doing a Tell. Stop doing his fucking cadence. Do your own shit, you fucking hack. Like, oh, yeah, sorry. Because he's so fucking good. How do you not want to just imitate him, like, just naturally? He's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, no one could tell a story. I mean, the way he would tell a story was just insane.
His HBO special was great. Captain Alcohol.
Yeah.
It's fucking good, dude.
Brutal.
So fucking funny. All right, people can start wrapping up. Please tell everybody like your podcast and stuff. If everybody, I'm sure everybody who watches this watches your podcast. For everybody who doesn't, please tell everybody about your podcast and what it's about, where they can find you. And
yeah, it's a weird. that was a weird journey, you know, starting from just talking about basic libertarianism and going into interviews and interviewing different people, and then getting to the point where it's like, I don't want to interview libertarians anymore, and if I do, I don't want to talk about libertarianism, and wanted to go more heterodox. And I think at this point, I mean, I think I get a lot of responses like, the reason why I think you have the best podcast out there is because I never know what it's going to be about. It's going to be, it could be Curtis Yarvin could be showing up, or some random dude from Twitter who's hilarious could be showing up on it. And I would like to see more heterodox podcasts out of libertarians, where stop interviewing all libertarians, try to get a commie on there and just have a conversation. And that's where I'm at now. Is I don't know what I'm going to. I get a wild thought in my head, and I'm like, well, who can I interview about that? And then, you know, then I just do it. And sometimes I just want to invite my friends on to bullshit too, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I'm not doing the same thing every episode. And I think that's why a lot of people like to tune in. And also, I think a lot of people have wanted some libertarian bashing for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that I have no problem doing that.
No
either,
shame. I love it.
I think it's I think that anyone who is sympathetic or wholly, you know, whole cloth bought into the libertarian ideology should have a sense of humor. Because I mean, if you don't have you never win. You have to have a sense of humor to be able to get through this, or else you're gonna, you know, KYS and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're like the Dark Lord of comedy. I fucking you're like the libertarian Dark Lord of comedy. It's the fucking best, dude.
I mean, I do like to make people laugh, you know, and it is really an amazing feeling when you make someone laugh.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it really is the best. It's selfish, because like,
oh yeah,
half of especially stand-up comedy is like, adore me, like, validate me. But the other half is like genuinely that good feeling of making someone like legitimately laugh. You're like, yeah, dude, I made that guy or chick say like fucking a little better at least. That's a cool feeling, you know. Like that's pretty cool. But your podcast, which I obviously love, is a model of this podcast for sure, or other way around. You know what I meant? Like I've been doing a lot of libertarians up front because it's only my 11th to 12th episode. So I want to get the people I like in libertarianism to talk about, obviously, because like I always want to talk to like you and like a lot of other people. So this was like a good opportunity for that. But I think after I get like probably 100 or 50 to 100 in, then I'll start doing what you do and like have on like commies and fucking GOP people and be like, "What's up?" and just do more shit like that, because that's fun. I like that. I don't want to just talk about libertarian stuff, but the first bunch I want to, because that's what I want to do. I want to meet people I like and I want to pick their brain.
I mean, I'm at the point now where it's like there are people. If I started naming like people that I want to get on the podcast who just won't come on because they're not going to. It's seen as a libertarian podcast, they're not going to come on and everything. People would think I'm insane, you know. But you know, like I would love to interview either of the Red Scare.
Why not? Well, yeah, why wouldn't you?
They're geniuses. I mean, you know, I used to hate Vocal Fry until I like started listening to them, and now it doesn't bother me anymore. It's like it's like I was just listening to their newest episode today, and I was just absolutely floored and laughing my ass off. You know, they're just so real. You know, and I don't. Obviously, they're to the left of me culturally and everything, but I don't think really that far.
Right.
No, I don't really think that far. I mean, I love to hang out in the East Village, and they like to hang out in the East Village and everything else.
Exactly.
I was like,
fun as fuck. Yeah. That's comedy mecca, goddamn. Over the, that's like all the clubs are pretty much. Yeah. No, fucking. Of course. I think it's what it's about, man. It's like trying to, like all the Twitter fights and all the like fuck yous. Those are fun, but like I also do like to try to talk to other beliefs and other ideologies and see where they're at, like actually genuinely, and not just try to be a troll or just try to be a dick, or even just stick up for us, whatever. I'm sick of that too. I'm sick of also having to stick up for us all the fucking time. Like, you know, I'm kind of getting tired of that. Like, you know what? Our shit speaks
And
for
why
itself.
are you? Because shit's so fucked up. That's why it is.
Yeah, I guess.
You have to stick up. You're sticking up for libertarianism because there's so many libertarians out there who are fucking it up.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
People calling themselves libertarians. I mean, I have no problem with, if some blue checkmark wants to attack libertarianism, that's to be expected. But when you have to defend the people who are calling themselves libertarians and anarchists and everything because they're so far outside of the mainstream, they think that you have to celebrate like libertinism or something like that. It's off-putting to our most natural allies that mostly come from the right.
Yeah, right? Fucking wild. It really, everything is fucking backwards, forwards, sideways, dude. Nothing makes sense. Everything makes sense. We're a weird bunch. We really are.
We are. And if we don't, this radical individualism we have really has to be, I mean, you can talk about it and everything, but we're going to have to come together if we want liberty in our lifetime. We're going to have to come together. And, we're going to have to sacrifice some of our beliefs or something like that. I mean, and I'm at the point where it's like I don't even care about the AFs of the world or the JW of the world and everything. If they would just be cool with me, I'd be cool with them as long as they weren't advocating for something horrible, something just absolutely disgusting and everything. At least if we were, I remember the first Ron Paul revolution, and it was like there were libertarians there were conservatives there were leftists there were a lot of people who were backing Ron. I mean, it got to the point where, I mean, I knew libertarians who were like, he should, him and Dennis Kucinich should run together and everything like that. And I'm like, that is really, really an odd pairing, even though Dennis is on the board of the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity. I mean, they've always been able to, Ron and Dennis have always been able to rally around their anti-war stance and, try to concentrate on that and really nothing else, because Dennis is horrible economically. But it just seemed like there was so much more inclusion back then. And then you had the whole leftist social justice movement really crank up around 2011, 2012, 2013. And unfortunately, a whole bunch of libertarians have bought into it. And,
that's unfortunate. That suckage of that is just leaked in hard and is ruining this fucking movement. It really fucking is.
Robert Conquest's second law: anything that does not start out or concentrate on being right wing is going to go left wing.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, you can, I mean, National Review is like the example I always use. I mean, right wing conservative magazine, and now they're to the left of friggin'
right. It's interesting.
Friggin' Trotsky sometimes,
wow.
And everything. And the LP didn't do it, and that was, it's the one warning I will give to the LPMC.
That's a good warning, dude. That's a great point. It's something I really never thought about, or I never put. I mean, that's a great point.
I mean, you have Chronicles magazine right now in the U.S. and I think Modern Age. Those are the only two like conservative right wing magazines in the country. Everything else is just, I mean, I would Mises, Mises magazine and everything. But as far as like periodicals go and everything, those are the only two that I can think of, and they were started explicitly to be right wing. Everything else has gone left.
Reason magazine's shit now. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, they started more as like I mean, I know Murray was there and everything, but there was so much Randian influence right from the start that you knew it was
that's fair.
Go left wing.
Yeah, because like I saw Robbie Suave, whatever the fuck, tweeting out today about I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be like a face of stuff, and you're just fucking giving in to the goddamn state, which is what we're supposed to be against. Whatever. We all know that, though. I'm just repeating myself. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, it's awful. I can't deal with them. People are, oh, you should. They're like a gateway and everything like that. I'm like, I don't know how many people can start with that and then get out of it. I'm sure that somebody will contact me. Go, I started with Reason magazine and now I'm a Mises guy. And I will, okay, but I mean, if one person has to contact me to let me know that tells me all I need to know.
Exactly. I think numbers speak for themselves sometimes. Hey, you gotta do more research, man. Pete, we can wrap it up here, man. Again, thank you so much for coming on. Please tell everywhere where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, all that. Just plug yourself, whatever you want to plug, please.
Sure. Free Man Beyond the Wall podcast, all the podcatchers. I have a YouTube channel. I have an Odyssey channel. Look on Twitter, at Peter R. Quiñones. I have a Substack that I write at, and I try to concentrate more on cultural issues there. That's petequinones.substack.com. It's called By Any Memes Necessary. And Stateless Productions, if you want to see a full-length documentary on anarchism, you can go to Amazon Prime and search Monopoly on Violence, and you'll see, I think the actual graphic in the back is actually Dave Smith.
I saw that the other day. I went, watch list? It's on my watch list right now. That's why it's funny you brought that up.
So, the Monopoly on Violence, people love that. So many people donated to that, and we were happy. I was ecstatic how it came out because I've never done anything in movies and video before and everything, and I was recruited basically so that I could talk to people and get people to be interviewed, to invite them to be interviewed and be interviewed. And I ended up learning a lot. And I would love that if we could make money doing documentaries, because that's all I would do.
Fuck yeah.
But you can't make money doing documentaries. So
yeah, it's like it's hard doing what you love and then making money also.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I do make money podcasting and writing, but the one thing that I think can reach a really broad audience is documentary filmmaking, but there's just no money there unless you're willing to sell the documentary and then somebody else owns it and they can shelve it if they want. So,
but
that's it.
Yeah, no, of course, Twitter, obviously. Go follow Peter on Twitter.
Yeah, at Peter.
One of the best Twitter followers, in my opinion. So yeah, fucking again, guys, follow YouTube, youtube.com/AdamNutter. Download, rate, subscribe, all that fucking shit. Catch me out on the road again, coming soon, Staten Island and outside of PA and Chalfont. All right, this has been fun, Pete. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll be back next week with Jacob Winograd, I think. Yeah, Jacob's coming on. All right, guys, peace.
Thanks for listening. Find Adam on social media, Twitter and IG at Adam Nutter, or Facebook and TikTok at Adam Nutter Comedy. And for podcasts and merch, check out www.droptent.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.